Alright everybody, welcome. The videos are back by popular demand, and we're going to be going over the math for solving the real business cycle model, which is sort of a stepping stone into looking at more complicated DSGs. And in this series of videos, we're going to be specifically looking at the real business cycle model, of course, RBC, and that's going to come from Costa Chapter 1, which is the book I recommend everybody look at for familiarizing themselves with the DSGE math. Of course, you need to make sure you are familiar with the slides that Professor Ilya provided. Okay, he's not teaching from Costa. Okay, so Ilya is not teaching from Costa. So you are responsible for what he's shown you. Why I recommend Costa is just because the math in the book is extremely clear. So I'm going to use that as kind of a mathematics primer. So we'll look at Costa in Chapter 1. This is going to be a CRRA utility setup. And you should be very familiar with this. You should know, what does CRRA mean? It's going to be a CRRA additive utility. You should know what all this means, and you should be comfortable working with this function. We're going to look at the CRRA case, which is the baseline case. We're also going to look at a special case of CRRA, where sigma C or sigma L are equal to 1, and that gives us log utility. Okay. You should understand that these are the exact same model, just the log utility is a little bit simpler because we don't have to estimate these parameters, we just set them to be 1. We'll also look at a little bit more complicated case. We'll look at a case where we have a Cobb-Douglas utility inside CRRA. Okay, so something like the intra-temporal utility function will be a Cobb-Douglas combination of work and leisure, of consumption and leisure, which we will call N, I suppose. And then that is itself embedded inside of a CRRA. Okay, so I've seen DSGE models that look like this, and we'll look at solving one because it's a nice math exercise. You can practice the chain rule, you can practice working with powers. So we'll do these in a series of videos. We'll look at all 3 of these models, and then we're going to move on and we're going to look at the new Keynesian model from Costa Chapter 2. Okay, new Keynesian, I'll write it out, new Keynesian from Costa Chapter 2. Okay, and that's going to have sticky prices, via a Calvo rule. Okay, these words Calvo rule should mean something to you. If they don't, we will hopefully know that by the end. So okay, this will be our starting point. These will sort of be our math playground. And then if I have time, I'll try to look at some specific models that Professor Ilya presented in class, some extensions. Okay, and these extensions are also present in Costa. You have things like investment friction. You have things like capital utilization. You have things like habit formation and consumption. Okay. But none of this should all be free. Okay. I mean, it's a little extra work, of course. There will be more variables, or there will be more things to optimize with respect to. But if you can do this, you can do this, then all of this is just adding one more variable, adding one more equation, making small tweaks to the model. So we really want to focus on these first few ideas, then we'll move on and we'll see some extensions. So that's sort of the preliminaries, and I will see you in the first video where we look at RBC.